Hello, my fellow extraordinary Americans. My name is Cosmos Dar, and this is Extraordinary America. What is Extraordinary America? Well, you see, America has always been about freedom, opportunity, and the pursuit of happiness. However, most Americans are not free when it comes to the financial front. Most Americans are suffering from financial slavery due to loss of jobs, stagnant wages, inflation, and debt. Wealth and income inequality is the norm now, and the middle class has all but disappeared. So Extraordinary America is about the abolition of financial slavery. It is about the financial freedom of the 99%. It is about the nation of immigrants and the descendant of immigrants restoring the extraordinary within themselves and setting themselves free. The path to financial freedom is through financial education. It is through becoming entrepreneurs and investors on the light side. In this podcast, I interview fellow Americans who fought against the odds. Many of them came from humble beginnings to see how they did it. It is my hope through these interviews that the extraordinary within you shall awaken and that you will abolish financial slavery from your life and realize the American dream. Once again, welcome to Extraordinary America. Welcome back to the show, my fellow extraordinary Americans. For today's guest, we have Otis McGregor. He is an entrepreneur, leadership expert, author, speaker, podcast host, project management trainer, and rugby coach. He was also a retired U.S. Army veteran and was part of the U.S. Special Forces, aka the Green Berets. In 2009, he founded LTO Enterprises LLC to help businesses win government contracts. In 2021, he rebranded LTO to become Tribe Plus Purpose, which focuses on creating better leaders to lead high-performing teams. His passion lies in helping people succeed and creating better leaders. He believes that better leaders create better organizations create better communities, and better communities create a better world. Some of the brands that his company has helped empower includes Atlas Advisors, NTT Data, Commit Foundation, Green Beret Foundation, Citizen Sports, and Estero River Outfitters. He's also a certified business performance coach and certified project director and trainer to the Institute of Project Management. Otis is an extraordinary American, and I'm glad to have him on the show. Hey, Otis, are you there?
Yes, I am, Cosmo. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. I'm really excited to have you on this show because you have quite a resume, including being in the military and all of that.
Yeah, it's quite an experience I've had. I just have to say it was quite an honor to get to do some of the things I've gotten to do.
So, Otis, I know you've been in the military, you've been in the special forces, you're an entrepreneur, and you're also the founder of Tribe Plus Purpose. Can you tell us and the audience a little bit more about how you got started, like a little bit more about yourself and your background?
Yeah. Well, I joined the Army. I'll take it one step back. I went to Texas A&M. I always got to make sure everybody knows that
Right,
I'm.
I went to UT Austin, so I know how Texas A&M and UT are just in like they're just like butting heads all the time. But
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. Like two brothers, right? But yeah, while I was there, I was in the Corps of Cadets, and I enlisted in the National Guard to get some experience about being a soldier before I became an officer. Uh, I was commissioned as an engineer and took my beautiful Texas bride with me to our first duty station, Fort Wainwright, Alaska, and learned a whole lot of environmental and life lessons in
Yeah,
the
it must be like freezing over there, right?
yeah, in the Arctic. A lot of weird things happen in the extreme cold. The old everybody always talks about, the throwing the coffee up in the air and it freezes before. That's nothing. I mean, I watched steel break in extreme cold. So quite an experience building ice bridges too. A whole nother war story about that. But while there, I volunteered for Special Forces and spent the next 17, 18 years as a Green Beret. Uh,
Otis, I gotta tell you, I deeply respect that because like in order to get to the Green Beret, like I have some friends in the military, they told me it's one of the hardest things to do. Like it requires a lot of grit, determination, A lot of people even drop out. Most people cannot even do it. That's a huge amount of respect. Like I don't know how you did it, but you must have a lot of like toughness in you to like get that going, you know?
Yeah, and then a lot of no quit in me too. Uh, if you want to get nostalgic, there's a great song that was written by Staff Sergeant Barry Sadler in the late '60s, I believe. It's called "The Ballad of the Green Berets," and in one of the choruses, he says, "100 men will test today, but only three will wear the green beret." Uh,
Yeah, that I mean, I don't know what the ratio is, but it is really hard to be over there. So
yeah,
kudos to you, you know?
Yeah, well, it was a great experience. I got to work with the best of the best from the U.S. and truthfully our partner nations, because I did a lot of work with our partner nations in Europe and some other places, and it was an amazing experience getting to work with the best of the best. They would challenge me to always be better because they were so good at their job. I had to be good at my job. And that is where that's where I really formed my leadership style, my understanding of how to lead, my planning, my vision, and those sort of things that have enabled me to do what I do today. And to fill in a little bit of the gap when I retired from the Army, one of the things that I did before joining the Army is I knew what I wanted to do in the Army. I knew what kind of career I wanted to have. I wanted to be 20 years and a lieutenant colonel and then retire from the Army, which is fairly standard thing, pretty decent career. I did that. And when I retired, my only plan was to get a job. And that was a tough life lesson that I learned. And I like to refer to that part of my life is wandering the job desert, because I bounced from job to job, quite literally. I never stayed with a company more than a year. And that period of my life lasted 7 years.
And
And
honest, like there's a lot of saying that our country does not do enough to help veterans like transition from the military to everyday life. So I don't know how you feel about like whether that's just like something that they say, or is there truth to it, you know?
yes and no. So here's my thing. So because I had so much problem, and that's why I started. One of the reasons I was able to find tribe and purpose is because of that struggle that I went through for 7 years. But what I do now is I give back to those soon-to-be veterans, fellows, as one of the groups calls them, guys getting on active duty, and help them develop their plan for what they're going to do when they take the uniform off. The transition, yes, when I transitioned, there was really nothing. Now there's no, I mean, quite frankly, I call guys out. There's no excuse, because there's a lot of programs out there, and there's probably 20 different programs, at least. There's probably 30, really. 30 different programs for individuals leaving the service, and depending on where you are and what your career field was, to help them develop a plan. Because I am passionate about nobody making the same mistakes I did. And what I like to help them do is make a plan for their next adventure in life, so that when they get out of the service, when they take their uniform off and they no longer have that identity, they no longer have that mission, I help them identify that, help them shift so they can live their life with intention in pursuit of their purpose to achieve their success, but without doing what I did, which was, okay, now it's time to get a job. It is about moving forward with intention in a direction that you believe in the moment is correct for you. And that, man, I get fired. You can tell in my voice right now. It's a good thing I'm at my standing desk, because I get fired up about this, because I'm so passionate. for if I meet a veteran that raises his hand and says, nobody helping me with transition, I just smack them upside the head, because they're woe is me. Look at me, look at all the problems. Shut up. There are programs out there that will help you, veteran, figure out what you want to do, how to translate your skills, because they're skills that fit into industries and communities. You just got to learn how to translate it. One of my favorite things to tell guys to do is, you have all the skills and understanding of how to be successful in your next life and your next adventure. But what you got to do is learn how to translate it into that industry's language and culture. No different than we did as Green Berets when we go to Iraq, Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uganda, you name the country around the world where Green Berets operate. And the one thing that Green Berets bring to the table is an understanding of the language and culture of the people that they work with. It's that same skill set that we have to use when we take the uniform off and we step into the IT industry, into the manufacturing industry, medical, you name it. That's what we have to do. We have the skills, but we have to learn to translate it and believe in ourselves that we do have those skills.
Otis, that is amazing. Like that is like pretty inspirational. It is kind of like one of the things I wanted to ask you, and like for the audience to know, right? So, can you tell us the mindset and the personalities required to succeed in becoming part of the Green Beret, and how it can be applied to our practical life? Because I think a lot of the audience can get a lot of insight into how to do that into their own life. Because in today's society, everybody's complaining and whining. But I mean, if you're going to be part of the Green Beret and you have that mindset, it can be applied to the real world. Could you share a little bit about that with us?
It's a never quit and always accomplish the mission. Those two things right there are key elements. And then how to be a good team leader. I like to use the phrase, pick up the shovel. If a hole needs to be dug, then you ought to pick up the shovel. Even if it's not your job, if it's your team's job to dig a hole, let's lend a hand. Hey, it's my turn. I'll dig for a while. Give me the shovel so you don't get worn out if there's only one shovel. It's about being part of a team and leading a team. And it's about getting things done without having to be told that they need to be done. My favorite example, or not example, but metaphor, if you will, of what it was like being a Green Beret and on a team was Monday morning, we would show up and say, all right, I'm the leader here in this team. So as a leader, I said, all right, guys, hey, this week we need to get a few things done, this, and this. We're going to do some training over here. We're going to do this. And I need three bags of blue powder by Friday. Wednesday afternoon, I have 5 bags of blue powder. And I never had to do any follow-up. I never had to say, hey, how's it going? And here's the other thing. If Wednesday afternoon, that guy that is in charge of getting the blue bags, only has 2, he's going to come to me and say, hey, sir, I got 2 bags. I'm having a little trouble with the 3rd bag. I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to push for it. I think I'll get it by Friday, like you said, at close of business on Friday. But I'm not 100% certain. And then Thursday afternoon, he's like, yeah, it's not looking good. Friday, before the deadline, he comes to me and says, sir, it's about a 5% chance I'm going to get this other bag. We're going to have to do something different. That whole time, he is coming to me and telling me and giving me updates, as opposed to what I see in business now is, as a manager, you got to go down and say, hey, what's going on? Are you going to get that done? Let me know. How's it coming? Can you give me an update? Never that way on the teams. Never that way. The guy would bust his butt to get it done. And if he's having trouble, he would go and ask other team members, hey man, you got any more blue bags? Can you help me out with that? And would provide me updates without me even having to ask. And only the updates, and not in an annoying way, you know, the too much information emails sort of things, like putting you on the CC line. Not in that way, in the critical points and decisions. I'll share with you another story of what it was like being a Green Beret and a special operator. This is when I was fairly senior and in my career, and I was doing some operations with NATO Special Operations Headquarters in Afghanistan, and my boss at the time was Admiral Bill McRaven, and we were building a coalition, is what we were doing, to put it real simple. And we had gone to Afghanistan, a bunch of commanders from other nations, and our NATO Special Ops headquarters. And towards the end of the time, we'd been there for 2 days. Towards the end of the time, the Admiral says, "Otis, I want you to stay here and un-F this place." And I said, "Roger that, sir." And when it came time for everybody to leave, everybody got on the plane, and it was at the bottom of the stairwell, the ramp. It was the Admiral and myself, and he tells me that same thing. "I want you to un-F this. Don't F it up. And if you have problems, call me." I knew exactly what to do. I knew exactly how to solve the problem. I knew what my mission was, because he and I had worked together for the last 2 months in prepping this, and I understood everything that I needed to do. And that was all the guidance I needed. Go execute. You know what to do. Go execute. Call me if you need help. And I did a couple of times during that, right? But it wasn't this, here, I need you to do this, 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 and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And don't go past this without calling me, because I want to check, make sure you did all these other. No, he trusted me, had 100% trust in me, in what I was capable of doing and how I could fix things and get the job done. And he also knew that there might be barriers that I may not be able to overcome myself, so I could call back to him for the help. That's leadership. That's what leadership is. It's not do this way. It's go fix this, solve this problem, bring me solutions, show me opportunities. Don't come to me whining and complaining.
I mean, no, I agree with you, but it's just that in today's society, there's like a culture of like kind of like almost like a defeatist culture when it comes to business, especially if you're like trying to transition from the 99 to 1%. People have a lot of excuses. So my question for you would be, how would the 99%, let's say they want to start a business, but they're afraid of of failure altogether, how would they go about doing a business and like get rid of all the excuses out of their head?
That's a big question. First off, I don't believe in failure. Failure is death. This BS that's out there, fail fast, fail forward, fail often, that sounds really pretty. But here's my world that I came from. Failure means somebody's dead. So I don't believe in failure. I believe in moving forward and adjusting my target, not adjusting my target, sorry, adjusting fire. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about artillery. Big bullets, right? They go up in the air and they're ballistic. They're not guided. They just kind of, some guy way back there, 3 or 4 kilometers behind me, pulls this lanyard, and this bullet that's this big around goes flying through the air towards the target that I'm calling for. And that lands. And I look at it and I go, adjust fire, add 200. And he changes the mill setting on the gun, and he fires another one. And he gets really close to the target. And I say, adjust fire, drop 100. And that puts him right on the target. And I say, fire for effect. That's what success is like. What's my target? Do I have clarity in what my target is? Do I know what I'm trying to achieve, what my vision of success is for myself and my business? And then I adjust my path to get there. And adjusting it means, Okay, that didn't work. Let's try this. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try this. Oh, let me shift here. Let me try this. Let me adjust where I'm going. Let me change my azimuth a little bit. Let me increase the speed. Let me decrease the speed. That's what I'm talking about. It is adjusting things. It's not failure. Fear of failure keeps people from moving forward. They're unwilling to try things. But if you don't try things, you can never learn and improve. And
Otis,
like I said, I just don't like that word failure because it's weakness. People
no,
fail and quit. I don't fail. I adjust fire until the rounds are on target, and then that's the whole battery is coming at it, and I'm running hard and hitting it hard. Then
so a quick question I would have for you is like what you're saying, failure is death, is really applicable when you're in the military, you're in the war zone, and a mistake could lead to the death of your comrades and all of that. So a lot of people like would want to know, how do you stay calm in a high stress situation? Because that's what the Green Berets would have to do, because they have to do some of the most stressful stuff out there. But you have to be calm, because if you're not calm, you're more likely to mess things up, right? So how would you advise somebody to be calm in the practical life when it comes to like business? Because if you can do it on that level, you can do it in everyday life, right?
well, first off, you got to understand that stress and chaos, perception of chaos, are all self-induced. 100%. It's all up here in your head. And once you understand that, then you can change your mind and say, I'm not stressed about anything. You can shift your mindset. And what I always tell people, when you find yourself in chaos, you find yourself in the stressed out environment, like, we used to call it hair lighting, a ceremony, right? You spray lighter fluid on your hair and you light it and you run around because your hair is on fire, literally, right?
Yeah.
Well, first thing you're gonna do when your hair's on fire is smother it, cover it up, right? You can survive your hair being on fire. It happens, well, I
Most
guess it
people would
probably,
just freak out, honest. I'm just
yeah,
being honest with you. Most people would just not know what to do when their hair is on fire.
yeah. Well, and it's the old stop, drop, and roll, right? But it's these are the things that we have to realize and understand. So when you find yourself stressed out, it's like, all right, stop, pause, take a moment to pause and say, all right, what is stress? Why am I stressed out? What are these things that I'm telling myself that I have a fear of? Because that's where stress comes from. We have a fear of something. We have a fear of the saber-toothed tiger around the corner, so we're stressed out and we don't want to leave the cave. That sort of thing. So how do we handle that? And it's truly that pause. And when you pause, you take that moment to just say, all right, what's going on here? And you can assess the situation. When you assess the situation, you collect the information, you see it more clearly, because we only see, let me do the math. I can't think of the math right off the top of my head. But when we're stressed out, we're in a fight or flight mode.
Mhm.
That's really what's going on inside of our body. It's run away from the problem or hide from the problem, right? That's literally what's going on. So if we pause, then we can start to see other options, other opportunities in it. All right, is it really that bad? Are we really hemorrhaging capital that bad in the company? Yeah, maybe. All right, well, how do we fix it? What are some options? Because as long as I'm stressed out, losing sleep as the leader of the business, I'm not able to think at my best, right? Our performance is affected by the lack of sleep, which is affected by the stress in our life, which is a choice that we make. That stress that we make. So if we pause and then assess the situation, then when we assess the situation, we collect the data. When we collect the data, we can formulate some options, some courses of action. And then we can take those courses of action and we can analyze those and say, all right, this is the best one. And we can put the plan together and move forward with that plan. And then continue to collect the data and continue to assess the situation. That's how you handle it. It's the same way you handle chaos. When you realize that things are falling apart, if you just stop and breathe and take a pause and realize, is it really that bad? If it's really that bad, if my house is burning down right now, and I go, oh my God, yes, his house is burning down. I got to get out, right? So I step outside, and what do? I pause and I assess the situation. Oh crap, I need to go get my pistol, my favorite pistol. I ought to go back and get it. Can I get it or can I not? Is my wife out? Are the kids out? Whatever, right? All those sort of things. We have to assess it. But if we're in panic mode, which is also stress, panic, fear, these things, that's what happens. Now, I'm going to take you a step back. And how did we handle it as Green Berets? Those stressful situations, training, preparation. Because when you prepare and you practice for things, even if it's not the same scenario, you've practiced enough for the known risks that when the unknown risks show up, they're not as bad. But if you don't prepare for the known risks, if you don't have contingencies and risk mitigation that you've put into your business, and then you have a Katrina or the floods that are going on in California, you name a natural event, or the Rona pandemic, you name a natural, a uncontrolled event that happens to your company. If you haven't done preparation beforehand, then that is 10 times worse. Otherwise, if you've prepared and you have one of my favorite phrases in a great book, I can't remember who wrote it, Black Swan. If you have a black swan event and you've done all this preparation for known risks, and you have an unknown black swan event happen, guess who gets to take advantage of it first? The businesses and the people that are prepared.
No, it's pretty true, actually. I would have to add that, like, a sense of non-attached, like freedom from outcome, like basically try to have like logical situations, like answers to it, but also to be free from outcome, because a lot of people, they are stressed when it comes to their finances going up and down. Like whenever they lose money, they freak out. But what you're saying right now can be applied to that situation.
Oh yeah. And think about it in preparation. If I'm in a business that is cyclical, and I've got a good friend of mine who does house appraisals. And let me tell you, was it year and a half or so ago, that guy had more work than he could do. I mean, he could be working 80 hours a week, easy, and still not filling all the tags he was getting pushed. But he did something really smart, and he banked it at the high times. And even though now it's slowed way down, right? So he's barely making the minimum that he wants to make each month. He's barely there. But because in the high times, he planned ahead and he prepared for a known risk coming, that the interest rates were eventually going to go up and the economy was going to slow down and people were going to slow down their selling, slow down their buying, slow down their refi. He planned for that. And because he planned for that, he's not in crisis mode, because he took just a little bit off the top each month so that he's got a runway for the next year and a half, because he did that. He planned for those peaks and valleys in his business. So if you're in a business that does that, then that's one way of fixing it right there. If it happens unpredictable, like we're in high times and then all of a sudden, whatever, the government cancels that program that, solar panel installation in homes, where the government canceled this big tax break that everybody got. Now my business has gone down. Well, those things are going to happen. So what do? You slow down, you stop, you pause, you bring in your team, and you say, all right, what can we do to make this right? What can we do to continue on a path, get back on a positive path instead of a flat line or drop path of our revenue? It reminds me of what happened, Dave Ramsey telling this story to me, and about 100 other people that was at this event. And what he said was, when the Rona happened and everything got shut down, he brought in the team and said, all right, how do we handle this? What do we do? And he said they spent 3 days in the conference room, 3 days straight, coming up with ideas and plans and different ways of approaching it. And whether they didn't panic. They didn't go, oh my God, throw their hands up in the air. They didn't panic, because panic, again, remember, you panic when you stress out, fight or flight are your only two options. And that's not, as a leader, you do that.
The funniest part about the 2020, when the Rona happened, was people were panicked, but not necessarily for the businesses, but for toilet paper.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Of all the things you had to panic about, that it was so ridiculous. But
And you know what that was? That was, well, what are they doing? Why are they buying toilet paper? Oh, well, then I should buy toilet paper. And then you see me buying toilet paper, and you're like, why is that guy over there's got three of the big Costco bags of toilet paper? Why is he buying toilet paper?
It was so absurd. It was so, yeah, it was so absurd and ridiculous. Like, I was, wow, it was like crazy, you know? But
Oh, yeah.
But Otis, on a different note, they say that America is the land of the free and the place where dreams are made. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Why are you even asking me that? Damn right, I agree with that. That's why I raised my right hand. I don't remember how many times I did, but I raised my right hand to support and defend the Constitution of these great United States. I did that to put my life on the line, because I believe in the American dream. I believe that anybody in the U.S. with the right attitude, and you see stories about this all the time. Heck, what was the kid's name? The quarterback for Georgia. They just won the national championship. A walk-on who, oh, by the way, walk-on kid that showed up as a freshman, right? Walk-on. Go play for this JUCO over here for a year or two, and then maybe we'll talk to you. So he walked back on and earned a starting position. Finished the year up as a Heisman candidate. Wins the national championship. How many touchdowns did he score or throw passes for, or whatever? 4. Going to go off in the NFL. That right there tells you that this is the land of opportunity. That is just one example. How many others are there? Man, now I can't think of the guy's name. The clothing guy who started sewing clothes in his mom's kitchen. I've got his book over here, and I'm not going to take the time to turn around and try to find it. But he's got this huge FUBU. FUBU is the brand, huge brand, right, that he created.
Mm-hmm.
From his little humble beginnings. His mom working 3 jobs, barely ever saw her. But he had a vision for success. And we can all do that if we're all clear on our vision for success. If you go through the motions in life, you will only get mediocrity. Just the motions, showing up and just doing the 9 to 5, the Dolly Parton complaining about, can't wait till it's 5 o'clock, can't wait till Friday night, every country song that was ever written, right? If that's the life you want to live, good luck. You're going to be that guy driving the beat up old trucks, drinking beer, handing Joe your beer and saying, hey, y'all watch this, because that's the only way you get a thrill in your life.
Mm-hmm.
But if you change your attitude, take charge of your life, live with intention, have clarity in your purpose, and know what success looks like, what does right look like for you, man, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you, because when you're clear on your purpose is the fuel that's in the engine that drives you to your success. That is powerful. That's a powerful place to be. You're getting me all fired up again. I'm going to start breaking a sweat here like a good Southern Baptist preacher.
No, it's awesome. And like the next question I wanted to ask, because it is important for most Americans, right? Like most Americans are right now trying to attain the American dream, but they feel that it is out of their reach. So from your experience in the Green Beret and also as the founder of Tribe Plus Purpose, how could we apply the principles that you learned from there with regards to Americans trying to realize the American dream?
Well, first off, make sure, so that there's the big umbrella of the American dream, right?
Mhm.
What's your dream? Understand what your dream is critical. When you understand what your dream is and have clarity in your dream, then you can create a plan. And when you create a plan, you can have goals. Goals break down into objectives, and objectives break down into daily tasks. And what are you doing today? How are you moving closer to achieving your dream? That's really the American dream is this great, big, beautiful thing, right? But the only way that you can have success is to pursue your dream, not the American dream, your dream. Dream what you want to achieve, have clarity in that, build the plan to achieve that, and then do something to achieve it. Don't just talk about it. Don't talk about it over beer and say, I wish I would have, I wish I could have. Don't should all over yourself. Go do something to achieve your own success and your own dream.
But Otis, this is amazing because you're basically giving a solution for most people because most people are relying on the system or politicians to help solve their issues and they're getting angry on things that do not affect their life personally. But from what you're saying is like you need to focus, prioritize your own dream and your own purpose and your own clarity and resolve. That most people don't have that. They are looking for others to give them that. So on an or from a national perspective, what would you tell most Americans on how to go and focus on their own purpose?
Have clarity in it. If you don't know what your purpose is, experiment. Take a guess. Remember that giving, I always mess that up, get the two words backwards. Giving is living, right? And if you think about that in that sense, how can me as an individual, have an effect on the rest of the world? What can I do to make a change? It's not what can the government do for me, John F. Kennedy. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I was thinking that right now. Yeah.
I mean, dude, it doesn't get any simpler than that. There's your direction. If you are struggling on what to do, if you're sitting around waiting for somebody, the government check to come in, okay, if you're satisfied with that kind of life, you go ahead, keep doing that until the government checks run out and you keep voting for those people that'll keep your checks coming in. The rest of us are going to focus on what we want to achieve, and not in a narcissistic, selfish way, but in a how can I have an effect and give so everybody can succeed. Like my purpose. You mentioned part of my purpose early in the intro. Creating a legacy of leaders, because great leaders create great organizations, and great organizations create great communities. With great communities around the world, we will have a better world, not for me, but for my children and my children's children, and so on down the line. That's what I believe. Create that impact, create a legacy for yourself by serving others, helping others succeed. That's success. Don't sit around and wait for a damn government check to come in the mail.
No, I mean it's part of like Extraordinary America is about us getting the motivation to like, become financially free, but by going into the American identity of freedom. But it seems like a lot of people like they've forgotten who they are as Americans, that they were born to be free and it is like they're born to take advantage of the opportunity for a better life to pursue happiness altogether. But like it's pretty important to know your purpose when it comes to the pursuit of happiness, and that is why I'm asking this question in the first place, because without your purpose, knowing who you are, what you're meant to do in this world, how are you going to pursue happiness altogether?
Yeah. And you know what people tell me? Well, what if this isn't my purpose? And you know what I say? Well, what if it is? Wouldn't you rather try something as your purpose and find out it's not than to never try at all? Think about that. Wouldn't you rather think that, hey, I want to be a rock and roll star, so I'm going to pick up the guitar and start playing the guitar, and find out that, it's kind of fun, but that's not my purpose.
You know, honest, it's interesting you say that because a lot of people tend to find their purpose through like celebrities, like following celebrities rather than following their own passions and dreams. Like they want to live vicariously through other people. It's just something I noticed in today's society. But I think it is more meaningful if we have our own purpose altogether, as you're mentioning, you know?
Well, it's no different than the toilet paper, right? Why did everybody buy toilet paper? Why did we run out of freaking toilet paper? You know why we ran out of toilet paper? Not because people were pooping more in their home. That's not why. We ran out of toilet paper because everybody was looking at everybody else buying toilet paper, and therefore I should be buying toilet paper. If somebody had gone into the Walmart and come out with a cart full of pork and beans, guess what? If another person did that, everybody'd be like, oh, I got to buy some pork and beans. We got to buy pork and beans because everybody else is buying pork and beans. You know that old saying, keeping up with the Joneses? As long as you are comparing yourself to others, you can never be happy. As long as your happiness rests in the opinion of others, you will never be happy. You are the only one that can control your happiness. You are the only one that can be the judge of your success. If you walk around in your life wondering what so-and-so thinks about you and what you're doing, what you're wearing, how you're acting, you want to impress them, you want them to, be part of you. You can't wait to see what Bobby thinks about how I did this. Man, the like button, that like button, yeah, it helps in an algorithm, business and information sharing out there. But if you're putting things out there and going, man, I hope everybody likes this, then your happiness is dependent on whoever everybody is. Don't live that life.
Amen, Otis. Amen. I yeah, I agree. It's pretty true. So, Otis, can you tell me and the audience a little bit more about Tribe Plus Purpose and the premise of how it got started and what it does and all of that?
Yeah. So Tribe and Purpose is focused on helping business leaders get clarity in their purpose and build a tribe around it, because you can't do it alone. There's a great African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that right there is why we as humans, it's in our genetic species makeup, is to be part of something. That's what a tribe is about. Being around others who want you to succeed and you want them to succeed, and we work together to succeed. That's what the tribe is. And the purpose is, just like we were talking about earlier, most people are going through the motions in life. Business owners, employees, you name it. They're just going through the motions in life. I got to do these things in order to make payroll this week. I got to do these things in order to get my paycheck by Friday. They're just going through the motions. I show up, punch the time card, do my things, and then go home. They don't have any association with the business. They don't have any association. They're not tied to it. They're not passionate about it. It's not even, your job, the thing that puts a paycheck in your bank account, is not even giving you the opportunity to go and do what your purpose may be, because not everybody can get paid for their purpose, to fulfill their purpose. But you can be paid to do something and be passionate about it and perform it and use that paycheck to fulfill your purpose and create more. And it's that sort of thing. So what we go back to, sorry, I was about to get in on another diatribe. What we do at Tribe and Purpose is help those business leaders get clarity in their purpose, create a vision for what they want to achieve, build a plan to achieve that vision, build a team, their business team, around that plan, get them bought into it so that they see themselves in that vision of the business success. And then one of the other things I love to teach people about is that life is managed. There is no such thing as work and life balance. It's all life. And because it's all life, we have to manage it. We have to understand who we are. What are my categories? What's the priority this week? What's the priority next week? What's the priority this month? What are my goals in this category and that category? It's all life. There's no magic. There's no work Otis and home Otis. It doesn't exist. It's all Otis. So we teach that to businesses. And we do this through a program that I call Team Unity. And they learn the people that go through this program learn how to do those things. They learn how to plan. They learn how to create a vision for their business, create a vision for themselves, and make sure they're aligned. What's their purpose? Understand who they are. Because, oh, by the way, the GPS on your phone, that works really cool and it's really fun. Everybody uses it because it makes life so simple. It doesn't work unless it knows where it is. That's the same thing for you in your life. You cannot get to where you want to go to achieve that success unless you know who you are today. Who and what and where you are today is critical for you to create a vision for who, what, when, and where you want to be in the future so that you can connect the dots with a plan. That's what we help them do.
That is awesome, Otis. I would definitely recommend my audience to take a look at this because a lot of times people, it's simple, it's easy enough to say, right? But difficult to do. Like a lot of people need to know what their purpose is, like what their vision and all of that is. And most people don't have the end point, where the GPS can go to at all. So, yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people try to do it on their own. And you know what? That more power to you. I've played that game myself, but I'm here to tell you, you can figure it out on your own, or you can be part of a tribe that will help you accelerate to that success. That's a pretty awesome thing because you know what? When you're with a group of other people that are thinking the same way that you do, and that desire to succeed and that desire to help you succeed, they're going to have thoughts and ideas that you can exchange with them. And you're going to have thoughts and ideas for how to help them. They're going to have experienced things that maybe you haven't experienced yet and share with you those lessons learned. So then you don't make the same mistakes they did. So that thing they struggled with for 18 months, guess what? You solve it in 30 days.
Totally.
Man, think about that. Think about that. You struggle by yourself 18 months. Yeah. Put your hands on your hips. I'm a badass. I figured this out. I can do this. I'm an alpha male, right? I don't need to ask for directions, figure out, get anybody to help me. Or you can move on to the next thing because, yeah, Joe Bob was telling me about that. He dealt with something just like that 3 years ago. He showed me this, and this. Here are the indicators. I learned from Joe Bob. I saw those indicators. I put this plan together, solved it in 30 days or less. And I've moved on and accelerated the growth of my company and accelerated the amount of people that I'm bringing together and helping provide them with an opportunity to pursue their purpose and achieve their success. Man, that's pretty cool.
No, that's awesome, Otis. So, Otis, is there any any project that you're working on right now that you want the audience to get a glimpse into?
Yeah, I've got I'm going to share with you two. I mentioned Team Unity, which is my program that I do. So I run that for business leaders. Like I said, business leaders whose businesses are flatlined or losing revenue. And we help them get their team back on board and get their revenue back on a positive slope. The other program I've got is my son's running at Camden. He's one of my coaches in the Tribe and Purpose team. And it's called Next is Best. And Next is Best is focused on retired Division I athletes. So think college athletes whose career is over and they're not sure what to do with their life. They think they want to be an entrepreneur. This is the program for them because it helps them get clarity on their purpose and how to become an entrepreneur, how to not just go through and live life in cube land for the next 30 years, but pursue something that they want to pursue and use that same energy they used as an athlete, as a high-performing athlete, into their new business. So pretty excited about those two things, those two programs. Yeah.
That is awesome, Otis. So, Otis, where can our audience go to connect with you and get to know more about you and your work?
Yeah. So the best place is tribe-purpose.com. So you can go to tribe-purpose.com. In the top right-hand corner is a Get Started button. You click that get started button. First step you're going to do is you're going to sign up for the Monday Moments newsletter. Monday Moments newsletter is my lessons learned from this week, so that when you kick off your week next week, you've already got, all right, don't do that what Otis did. Those sort of things, and a couple of other nuggets that'll really help you move forward with the week and get you fired up to move towards your success. The other option there is you can sign up for a call with me, do a quick call and see if you're a good fit for Team Unity, or possibly Next is Best. It's about helping people succeed. I want people to have their success. That's such an important part of life. Don't go through the motions in life, man. Go to tribe-purpose.com and click that get started button.
Otis, that is exactly what makes you an extraordinary American, that you want other people to succeed. And that is what this is about altogether. So yes, I really appreciate you coming to this show. And I do hope that at a future time you come back. And it is basically an honor to interview Otis.
Oh, it was great. I had a blast, Cosmo. I appreciate the time and opportunity to share.
Yeah, and I want to conclude this interview by telling my fellow extraordinary Americans that, hey, there's an extraordinary within each and every one of us. It's our duty to awaken it and unleash it. For next time, bye for now. Hey there, everyone. Thank you for watching Extraordinary America. If you like what you see, please do subscribe to our podcast and share it with others. Remember that the best investment that you can make in your lifetime is in your own financial education, for it is knowledge that truly sets you free. Also remember that your purchasing power is being diluted through inflation, and then the practical thing to do is to protect the loss of your purchasing power by investing in precious metals or the right cryptocurrencies. Also, never forget that you are an extraordinary American. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.